YouTube, what's going on, man? It's your boy D.SHELTON, man. We back with another video. We back with another reaction, man. This is getting out of hand, man. We got supposedly new audio and new evidence that OTL Vonnie paid Lil Tim to knock off Von. And this is coming from OTL Vonnie's father. If you ain't know, now y'all know. Like I said, this is getting out of hand, bro. I'm just telling you, like, bro, let Von rest in peace, bro. But like I said, this been going on. People been saying Von was set up. And it's just like, man, this is getting tricky. So we finna get into the video and let's see what else is going on. And yeah, we just here to watch, man. Let's see what's going on, man.
They're crazy and etc. Well, suddenly now they're out here making conspiracy theory content. How ironic. And here's the thing. It's not about clout, attention, views, or none of that. The sole purpose of this was to expose the weird stuff that go on in that industry. It's deeper than just King Von. This is what happens in that industry, period. And we first started out exposing that to show it, and Von's demise just so happened to be entangled with the same thing that we were talking about. But let's not forget, there's a lot of weird passings that don't make sense that we've spoken on, including Pop Smoke, Nipsey Hussle, Mo 3, Young Dolph, YBC Duel, the list goes on. So some of you only know the Von part because that's who y'all are in tune with, but it's deeper than just Von. And it's sad to say, Von was just a number, unfortunately. The problem is, they didn't know who he was spiritually. Now I've seen Remo and No Jumper speak with Mickey Truth, and shout out to her. And they say things like, whoever's saying this must be on dope, whoever's saying this must be clout chasing, want attention, making things up for a come up. No, this isn't something you do for a come up. There's real people out there that knows the weird stuff that goes on in that industry, and whenever you have someone that come with receipts about it, you have the people that don't understand it trying to sway the narrative. But anyway, shout out to Gyla, aka Miss G, aka Top Hat, because if y'all remember, aside from us, she did, and guess what? Everything she said will come to pass, did. Remember when she told y'all Von was gonna start moving like Jimmy Bones, and he wanted revenge on everybody that did him wrong? Well, fast forward to 2025, how's that been going? The whole O Block has basically crumbled, so have OTF, Durk is in jail, Bezu is nowhere to be found, and Duke is no longer here. But speaking of Duke, remember when Gyla tried to warn Duke, told him to be careful? He called her crazy, and now look. But anyway, let's get into these audios since the cat is out the bag. I told y'all I've been sitting on these audios for a minute. Out of respect, I kept them, but it's out. So we're going to get into that and a few other things that haven't been exposed that you guys don't know. But before we do, make sure you hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the...
Son, come on, give me a pistol, whatever. So I don't know what we're in the midst. I ain't even ask no questions. Come on, let's go. And Lil Tim, we on the side of the highway. Lil Tim come flying. I can show you the text message too. I text Lil Tim because he did the interview acting like he like that. You ain't like that. I was there when you ran.
What they say, don't act like you like that. I was there when you back into the the suburban same day. You was running from the police on the four-wheeler to get the bag for don't get stepped on. The only reason cause don't get stepped on because he Muslim, you not Muslim, but
from the police on the four-wheeler same
I don't know who this
is.
is.
Suburban got the bag for mine. The only reason cause them don't get stepped on cause they Muslim. You ain't Muslim. I text him on Instagram. He ain't never responded back. I'm gonna send it to you and show you what I sent him. So he gonna know 100% facts that I was there. Because the same day you was running from the police, they get bag next to the suburban. You in a pickup truck, and they gave you a duffel bag full of money. You know what I'm saying? This is in April 2020, being killed to November 6th. So my son thinking that I ain't gonna remember because I'm back in Chicago.
Now speaking of OTF Vonnie, right?
All right, I'm sorry, but why? If you knew this hit was paid for Von, why you let it go down like that? Why you didn't warn Von? If quote unquote you knew this wasn't for, or you didn't know. See, it just like this just ain't making sense to me. But I don't know. It ain't making sense to me. Like if you knew that your son was doing this to put the hit on Von, why you didn't let Von know? Maybe you didn't want to think Von was, I don't know, man. I don't know if you would have told Von thought you was probably crazy. I don't know, bro. But this ain't making sense to me, man.
There's a lot of things people don't know about Vonnie. People don't know that it was an attempt on his life before him and the OTF guys were arrested. Before he came back to Chicago, where he was grabbed up by the feds, he was staying in Atlanta and shared an apartment with T Styles, the girl that's a stylist and friends with Cardi B. Somehow, some way, he was in a vehicle where gunmen began shooting and hit the car 26 times, and he wasn't hit at all. But however, that's not the only thing that played a part when him coming back to Chicago, because they was already aware that the feds were coming, which is another reason why they were back in Chicago.
Came back to Chicago within the last couple months before they got locked up. You know what I'm saying? He with the broad T Styles, and he snaked out, did some snake into her. And, which T Styles? The T Styles that be with Cardi B. The T Styles that you got. I know you're talking about. Yeah, he was for her, and he snaked out. She went somewhere, moved her furniture out the crib, had somebody steal a jewelry, did everything. Snake. God damn. But look how long I was with him. Cause I asked a lot of people to protect my daughters and protect my sons. I got it, you know what I mean? And guess what? The crowd on my watch, from when I was ignorant, would make me not be able to have to cry. You know what I'm saying? So it's just what it is. So I got shot up 26 times. He in it, not a bullet touched him. That's crazy. Not a bullet touched him. I hit 26 times. Not a bullet touched him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, not a bullet touched him. You know what I mean? So he got up out of Atlanta and had been playing Chicago.
So who did it though? Who was supposed to be did the hit?
I said, man, what greater test can a man have? He said, what's that? I said, what's that? I said, his own son take him to go pay for his nephew's hit. Tears didn't fall from his eyes, but they watered up. They watered up, they ain't fall. You know what I mean? What greater test can a man have? Yeah. You understand me? Dealing with this, you know what I mean? He took me to pay for this, could have left me at home. But like my man says, you know why he took you with him? You weren't gonna let nothing happen to him. If the on some back door, finna rob him for the bag and woo-woo and kill him, you know you was gonna get out. That's why he took you with him. That's why he took you with him. He didn't think you was gonna remember, but that's why he took you with him. That's exactly why. You know what I'm saying? He know you gonna get out, so that's why he could have left me at home. That's why he took you with him. That's why he took you with him. I'm about to say, out of all that, like you said, you could have left me home. Yeah, left me at the crib, and I'm in the area, I don't know nothing. Come on, Pops, let's go. Me blinking anything, but like I said, my man said, that's why he took you with him. You know you gonna go. And you peeping, you see everyone.
Let's break something else down for y'all. The club that King Von and them went to that night he passed away, anybody knows who owned the club? Well, allegedly, the club that King Von and them was at the night he passed was owned by 21 Savage's uncle. Now remember, 21 Savage said that he's the one that got the call first about Von passing, and he knew before Lil Durk. He says him and Lil Durk was at a bowling alley together in Houston. He got the call from the club, and he didn't want to tell Lil Durk, which sounds kind of crazy. But he didn't want to tell Durk, but 5 minutes later, he seen Durk run out the bowling alley, so he said, damn, he must have found out.
Night happened. Me and Durk at the bowling alley, because we was all in Houston and shit, so we at the bowling alley. I got the call probably 2 minutes after it happened, no exaggeration. The club right there, that's like my uncle. So he called me, but I'm thinking he done did some, because they weren't kicking it like he got shot. They were kicking it like he shot somebody. But then goddamn, he called back and was like, nah, he got shot too. I ain't even want to tell Durk, so I ain't even say nothing to Durk. But then goddamn, about 5 minutes later, Durk just like left about the goddamn bowling alley like fast. I was like, damn, he just found out. I ain't want to tell.
Now keep in mind,
so Durk
this
didn't
can
know?
either be true, and Durk knew about Von being shot before we seen him on live, or he lied, and Durk was on live and found out really how Von was shot, just how everybody assumed when he was looking at the messages as he got off live, right? I'll let y'all figure that one out. Now also, what a coincidence they say 21 Savage bought King Von's sister Kayla a new Range Rover after everything transpired, simply because he just wanted to, because she dated his cousin. But if y'all remember, when Kayla being Mona Lisa, who's affiliated with King Von and his other sister and cousin Balo, she would expose Kayla B on Twitter as she would say, quote, "You got other issues to worry about than me. Tried to lie and say Lil Harold or Savage got you a car when Durk paid you off for the snake issue did. F out of here." Now Von's sister Kay will also chime in during that back and forth as she would say, quote, "I'm not arguing with no prosty or B-word that got paid off." Now speaking of the car Kayla got, y'all check this out.
My son FaceTimed me. He had the Range Rover dealership. Right? My mama sharp as hell. I'm sharp. I get my sharpness from my mama. So my son at the Range Rover dealership, you know, I'm telling her what's going on. But she, you know, her grandson, she ain't trying to hear that. Ooh, you know. So she say, he tell me, I say, he at the Range Rover dealership, man. 21 Savage about to back a little Range Rover. My mama said it wasn't out my mouth in 2 seconds. And I'm saying it like it's the truth. You understand me? I'm saying it like it's the truth. It wasn't out my mouth 2 seconds. She said he ain't buying it, he buying it. Like 21 ain't buying it, K-Vaughn buying it. It wasn't out my mouth 2 seconds. I'm saying it like it's the truth, you feel me? Like I'm sorry.
What the? This is crazy, bro.
Repeat to her, 21 for the back, Cadillac Range Rover. I'm saying this like it's the truth, you understand me? It ain't out my mouth 2 seconds. He ain't buying it, he buying it. And then guess what? I had to check her too. Exactly. I had to check her. I said, because it ended up coming out on YouTube, the 21 border of the Range Rover, right? Later on, it come out on YouTube.
I didn't see that. I ain't see none of that.
Yes, they did. I said, mean what you saying, say what you mean. You said what you meant at the first time. Don't do it up, because they got to paint the narrative that this what happened. You put me in my proper place. You put me in my proper place and told me he ain't bad, it ain't out my mouth 2 seconds. Now they put a video out to support their mind, and now you saying, yeah, come on.
Now it's also a coincidence.
So what are they saying Kayla's part in this? That she knew what was going on. So in her part of plan, what was going on, they bought her the Range Rover. But they were saying 21 Savage bought her the Range Rover, but it was really Vonnie doing it. Like I said, this shit is crazy, bro.
That it was rumors floating around that allegedly, in the past, King Von happened to rob 21 Savage cousin. Allegedly. Now, I'm not saying what's right and what's wrong. All I'm doing is trying to show y'all what's been put out there, and I want to know from y'all what makes sense and what don't. Simple. Now, speaking of the club, what if I told y'all that the club was illegally open and was supposed to be shut down due to a previous shooting that happened there before? How was a club that was illegally open was secured by off-duty Atlanta police? Why would a lounge or club that's supposed to be shut down even operate? Shouldn't the police be aware and shut it down? Well, here's a document proving that the club was supposed to be shut down, but I guess
became inactive.
So you see his public record that the place was illegally open. And that's the thing, my son called me and it just all clicked back. He like, man, the place where we haven't had the party at, it's closed down, something. Said, shit, have it somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? So he thinking this whole thing is throwed off. You know what I mean? You know, because he already planned, and he planned the place and everything, you understand? And him, Rondo, and Vaughn is texting back and forth. He talking to him, all he do is put them at the same place at the same time. And then the manager, if we can't take our guns in the club, but Slutty wasn't going, I'm gonna make sure folks get in the club first before we put our pistols up, you know what I'm saying? Just so happened his gun jammed.
Now remember when Grandbaby was on live with his mother Kayla B, and he said, quote, y'all did something to my uncle.
You miss Vaughn? You miss Vaughn?
Yes, do you miss Vaughn?
Yeah. You Vonnie you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Look at my video, guys.
But I miss my uncle because y'all did something bad to my uncle.
Now we knew that was a day.
I don't know, man. That's crazy.
Giveaway, because why would a child say something like that?
Yeah.
And why would he say his mother
wrong.
did something wrong to her own brother? Well, here's a picture of Vonnie and another guy by the name of Fats, who y'all heard of in the text message that was exposed recently, and they were talking about something. Now, I'm not saying they were talking about doing anything to Vaughn here, but this picture just goes to show that Grandbaby was very much around and was able to hear a lot of things that maybe they didn't think he was comprehending, which also may have been the reason why he was able to say, y'all did something bad to my uncle.
So they said
nothing with Grandbaby. Grandbaby never met Vaughn's father. Grandbaby never met Vaughn's father. True, which is Vaughn's story. She called me Papa. You understand? Grandbaby didn't know me, so he asked Vaughn, and I asked Papa. He said, yeah, I'm his grandfather. You understand? But me and Vaughn's daddy are not blood related. You know what I mean? But it's what it is. We've been together since we was 2 years old. We have been just together since we was 2 years old. So he asked me, that's my Papa. So if you listen to the thing, my son's birthday is April 1st, okay? So it started 4-1 when he said, y'all did something to my grandpa. Y'all y'all did something to my uncle, you don't have to do nothing to my grandpa. I'm his wow. But guess what?
He said what?
I'm his grandpa.
Nah.
Which is Ron's dad. You understand? My son picked him up from school every day. He looked around him every day. His eyes is closed, but his ears are open. So God forbid he on a Bluetooth or whatever. But he was real sharp, and he put everything in that same clip. And I got that clip the day I put Vaughn in the ground.
What?
The day I buried Vaughn is the day I went on YouTube and I found that clip. But he said, y'all did something to my uncle and same thing. And then on that same tape, 911 is at 911. That's when he said, you miss Vaughn? She said, yeah, Miss Vaughn. She said, Vaughn, you miss Vaughn? She said, yeah, but you can see this thing in her face. This thing in her face. He said, why? Why? And he killed him. You know what I'm saying? Because he know he ain't stupid. The little boy sharp. You understand? Sharp. He loves him.
Well, now let's talk about the security that night. How about we talk about King Von's security, Big Country, who was told he wasn't going to secure for Vaughn that night, and he was only made into a driver, which is why he wasn't able to have his weapon that night. Right. But ask yourself, why would they take him from being a security guard and make him a driver only, specifically that night? That same security is currently locked up for protecting young Maul, who was his client, who he had to shoot multiple people trying to protect his client for, which was young Maul.
How the hell he get locked up for that?
So it just goes to show that whoever, quote unquote, made him into a driver that night knew what they were doing, because they knew he wasn't going to go for anything happening to Vaughn while he was security. Keep in mind, he was also Durk driver initially as well, allegedly.
Vaughn's driver, which was Big Country, Durk sent the bullet.
Is that the African? That's the which one's the African?
No, listen. African is regular driver. Look, I never met Big Country in my life. Listen, show you how God work. I never met him in my life. He come to the mansion because he drive Durk to the mansion so Durk can say something to Vaughn, mama, He said, no, I'm sorry, give my condolences to me. He said, I'm sorry, I was deactivated as a guard and I was only a driver that night. And I got the paperwork to show Big Country locked up for protecting young Maul. If he had been on point, them niggas would have got killed, this, that, and the other, you know what I'm saying? So the dude, Durk sent
how he locked up for help protecting his client?
This is why we were all asking what was wrong with Vaughn's security that night, because it seemed like he didn't have no security. Clearly, it seemed like he was fending for himself. And if you even pay attention to the whole video from that night, you can see it seemed like it was a setup for Vaughn to be in the middle of the street. Now that sounds crazy, but Vaughn's father was unalived by a sniper who was never ever identified and never ever caught. No suspect was ever caught for the unaliving of King Vaughn's father, Silk. The way Vaughn passed away, we could almost think the same, because the way he was shot so many times and had different caliber shells in him according to the autopsy, sounds as if he was hit from multiple people. We were told it was police, we were told it was Lil Tim, but our eyes would tell us we couldn't see who it was in the video. Lil Tim admitted his weapon jammed after a while, as we seen in the video. So where did the other shots come from that all hit Vaughn? How Quando Rondo wasn't hit at all? And for the millionth time, how was everyone with Vaughn shot, including him? Meanwhile, the person who actually fired the first shot wasn't. Doesn't make any sense. Anyway, that's it for now. It's a lot more, but we're gonna drop different videos based on everything we know. There's also an interesting story pertaining to Louis losing his life and the weird stuff that went on with that before he passed away. But for now, y'all let me know what y'all think about all this.
I don't know, man. Like I said, this is crazy. But we gonna react. Hey, we gonna be watching. We gonna video drop. We gonna react to it. Like I said, this is insane. Like, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to believe. Me personally, I don't know, bro. But like I said, y'all can comment. Let me know y'all thoughts on the video. And I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. If y'all can check out my second channel, D.SHELTONTv. Links in the description.